So we would have these shipments come in from, I believe it was Fiji and maybe Tonga.
And Tonga too, yep. That was the main
Tuesdays
supplier.
and Thursdays.
Those are the main suppliers for
Right.
those particular, yep.
And they would come in at like 4 p.m. I would help unpackage some of these, the coral, and then photograph it. And sometimes like on Thursday, I was photographing Tuesday's coral. And then on the Tuesday, I was photographing Thursdays because we had to give it enough time to adjust and make sure it was okay. Yep. And I just was obsessed with photographing as many different corals as I could.
Because we get boxes and boxes. It would probably be sometimes 100, 150 corals in a shipment.
Right.
So, and you're unboxing them. You've got these big boxes. I mean, we call them coffin boxes because they're huge.
Yeah.
They're massive. And each box would probably hold, between 8 to 16 corals, I'd say, for an example. And then we'd be unpacking those. And then you have to put them in a certain location in those tanks with a good amount of flow going by them. You let them what's called polyp out. And polyps are they have little like discs coming out all the sides of the branches of the corals. And those have to open up before you can photograph them. So you got to give them that amount of time to be able to open. And that was your job.
Yeah.
Would you stay until the work is done, or would you finish up the work and kind of just hang around and look at the coral and stuff like that?
Both. I would hate to ever leave a job unfinished. But if I finished early, I wouldn't tell my parents to pick me up because I would be there. I loved just being able to look because I could keep the lights on. And I don't know if that was responsible back then because I was the only one in the warehouse, like 13, maybe 14 years old. And I had the code to the front and I think I had a key or something like that. But I would be the one at like 10 or 11 p.m. Remember you tell me, do the code. And then I'd have to lock the door when I left. And I loved it. I loved having the whole place to myself. We had the radio going, and I could control the lights, which I thought was the coolest. Like I could keep the lights on above the coral. And yeah, I would ideally just keep going until I was finished, but sometimes there's too much. And by like 11 p.m., my mom or dad would say, no, this is enough. We got to stop. But I would just keep going. But yeah, and I think
you were responsible to getting those uploads done for me, so that was it was a pretty important job.
Who was doing the job before Graham?
Me.
You were.
Yeah, most part. Yeah.